the line of scrimmage. The lineup, it's Simons, Radke, Finney, Schrader, Moore, and Jordan along the front for the Hoosiers. Wide people are Allen and Jones, with Dave Craney at quarterback, Holtz the fullback, and Thompson is the tailback. And there's very little gain on the first carry. Thompson had over 100 yards a year ago here in this stadium against Michigan State running the ball. There are those who doubt today if he can do that against the stunt 4-3. They bounce this one outside the tackle, and it's Thompson carrying again, and the Michigan State defensive people swarm him. Szymanski, Nichols, Davis, and Buddy, the down 4. They play a stunt 4-3 with Moore, Snow, Larson, the linebacker, Snow in the middle, the most active. The defensive secondary, Reed and Barnett on the corners, Miller and Crum, the safeties. And the last time we were here, Miller had 4 interceptions. The ball is resting. It'll be 3rd down and 8. And Tony Buford and Ernie Jones are the 2 wide people. Could be Craney's first pass of the day. It is. Has time, pass away, pass is good to the tight end, Tim Jordan, who has been coming on very well in the late going of the season, and he picks up a first.
It's a big completion for Craney, a senior who has played a lot for the Hoosiers. In fact, their 6th all-time passer. So he's been in the ball game a few times. Makes a nice completion. The 2 wide receivers took off from the left side. They drug the tight end over to that side. Nobody there. He picked up the first down.
Carlos Marte is in at tight end right now, replacing Jordan. They go wide to the field side, and Jordan stayed in. They got double tight end. Give it to Thompson, and Thompson will have a yard or so as he disappears under a pile of green just about the line of scrimmage. Percy Snow, the middle linebacker, gets a lot of calls in a football game because he's the loose cannon back there. That's not 4-3. The big guys up front take down the offensive lineman, and that frees number 48.
And he is not a big man, as you see right there, 6'3" and 211. He is a middle linebacker.
He'll put a knob on you, though.
The reason he can play that position because all the stunning up front doesn't allow any of the offensive linemen to get to him.
Craney is back to throw. Ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. The pass was intended for Thompson coming out of the backfield. And one of the big linemen, looked like Davis maybe, Travis Davis, reached up and got a hand on it. There he is, number 75. Craney stands 6'1", 210, so he's a little more than average height.
The thing that Indiana loses with Craney, rather than Schnell, is some mobility. Craney does not move around as well. Schnell had the ability, if the play was busted or somebody was in the pocket, he could scramble, make a positive big play maybe out of perhaps a sack.
From the 41, it is 3rd and 8. Spartans jumping around. Pretty good protection again for Craney. Drills the receiver, Tony Buford. The senior from Aurora, Illinois, has an Indiana first down at the Michigan State 46-yard line, and they've been this kind of a team all year. It's 3rd and 8. They convert it. 3rd and 8. They convert it.
Well-designed play here. Buford, the outside of the 2 wide receivers, is just going to come across the field, similar to what Jordan ran on the first 3rd down situation. So 2 3rd downs, 2 big plays for Indiana, and George Perlis has got to be concerned that they're passing so well against his Spartan defense.
They have not been able to penetrate and put pressure on Craney yet. He had 1 pass batted aside by a lineman. That's Jordan in motion on first down from the Spartan 46. Outside it goes to Thompson. He turns the corner, and he's got 8 or 9 yards before he's run out by Percy Snow and the free safety Todd Crum. Thompson, 6-footer, 205, a sophomore only from Terre Haute.
Last year, Keith, right here on this field, Thompson ran for over 100 yards on Michigan State. That tough run defense. And talking with the Indiana coaches, their philosophy was, hey, we're not coming in here left-handed. We're going to go with what we do best. And they were going to talk about running right at Michigan State. They did that on their first couple of runs. It didn't work, and that time they got some yardage going wide.
2nd down and 1 for Indiana. Fullback has it this time, and Tom Coates, the senior from Henry Mancini's hometown, Aliquippa, PA, is going to have the first down.
You know, Keith, we talk about the stunt 4-3. Watch these two defensive linemen. Davis will cross this way. Nichols will come behind, and the runner will go right into where he was. It messes up the blocking, and right there, Nichols, number 83, makes the hit, but a first down for Indiana. It's very tough to block those defensive linemen when they're stunning right and left. You don't know which way they're going.
32. Ball is at the 32 of Michigan State. So the Hoosiers putting on a drive in the opening possession of the ball game. This is pitched low back to Anthony Thompson. I think they got away with a clip maybe down there because somebody took number 6, Derek Reed, down from behind. Percy Snow came across to get the tackle and take him out of bounds. So there's no gain on the play. In fact, it appears from here he may have lost a half a yard.
You mentioned it a little bit earlier, Keith, that Indiana, a notoriously slow-starting team, seems to have gotten their engine started a little bit in the locker room because they got a nice drive going here. Be a big boost for Bill Mallory if they could get a score on the board first.
Ball is back near the 33 now on 2nd down and a little more than 10. Craney on a roll, whips it to the sideline. Pass into the hands of Ernie Jones, but this is a man that doesn't drop many. Ernie, you look at him. See, he's looking right back into a very bright sun, and I doubt very much if he ever saw the ball.
Well, the sun is shining. You can tell from the shadows. The field is mostly in shade at that end, but watch here on the replay. You see him looking right back into the sun. He doesn't drop many balls. Although he did drop a few fumbles, a few balls after he had them last week. As you look at the shadows, in about 20-25 minutes, the field will be in complete shade.
On 3rd down, the Hoosiers are 2 for 2. They're 3rd and 10 now. They've converted twice at 3rd and 8. And Craney back. Still no pressure on him. His pass is away, and he doesn't hook up with Jones. Jones was deeper downfield. And Craney threw the ball on a short up and out, and it goes incomplete. And there's the final as Michigan came from behind to beat Illinois 17-14. So Indiana now comes up to 4th down, and Pete Stoyanovich, the place kicker, has brought the tee out to put it down at the Michigan State 39. So he's looking at a 49-yard try. He's 1 out of 6 between 40 and 49 on the season. 1 for 1, however, past the 50-yard line. Plenty of leg. Got it. From 49 yards, the Indiana Hoosiers take the lead with 11:05 to play in the first quarter. Michigan State is yet to handle the ball.
Last week, Michigan State tailbacks Blake Ezor and Lorenzo White both rushed for over 100 yards. The first time two Spartans have done that in the same game since 1976.
Just moments ago, Washington and UCLA. After a Washington fumble on the first possession of the game, UCLA took it to the line of scrimmage for their first attempt in the game. And Eric Ball ran it 22 yards for a touchdown. It's 7-0 UCLA on their first play of the game. They're looking towards the Rose.
And here at East Lansing, the Indiana Hoosiers take the opening kickoff, run off 12 plays, and cash in a 49-yard field goal from Pete Stoyanovich and take the lead 3-0. And now Michigan State will see the football for the first time as Pete will kick it off. The deep people are Craig Johnson, 28, Blake Ezor, 26. Both burners. short kick. Ezor about the 13 and comes back across the 25 near the 28-yard line. Michigan State opens with a big man, Mandarich, Kula, Sherma, Tata, Houle, Sargent up front. The wide people for Michigan State, Risen and Boyer, McAllister at quarterback, Moore the fullback, and Lorenzo White the tailback. And they will begin from, let's call it, their 27. Boyer wide to the bottom, Risen split to the top. Indiana shows blitz and they're coming. The handoff goes to the up man, and it's a good thing. Well, it's White who slipped by the fullback to take it, but it's a good thing because that number, what was it? Was it Waiters that came flying? No, it was Hickerson, cornerback. Hickerson. Yeah. Harris, Sams, and Bauer are the up front people. 3 down with Waiters and Huff outside, Bates and Bush inside at linebacking. Hickerson, the man who just blitz at one corner, Ziegler the other corner, and the safeties are Hall and DeWitts. This is White again, and Lorenzo steps through the hole and takes it out near the 34. Joe Huff, a senior from Newburgh, Indiana, got the first hit on him.
One of the things that Michigan State will try to do is run away from Van Waiters, who is an outside linebacker, was an all Big Ten player last year. They want to go 2 tight ends and run at Huff. Huff is only 6'1" and 225, and when he came to Indiana 4 years ago, he only weighed 200 pounds as a walk-on. They want to try and run at him with a tight end.
You got a double tight end alignment. They go back to Lorenzo White, picks his way through the crowd and breaks it for the first down, and here's our first penalty flag of the ball game. I think you got a holding call coming up against Michigan State. Tom Quinn is the referee.
Here's Waiters. Now take a look at him. 86 is Kasevich, the backup tight end. Waiters is the one man that they have to take care of. You see, he gets tripped up and blocked pretty well. Last year, Perlis was telling us that the one man that caused them not to do well on the ground was Van Waiters. He always goes to the wide side of the formation, the wide side of the field.
The referee, Tom Quinn, there. The umpires, Bob Pickens, Jim Mullendore, the head linesman, Ed Marisich, line judge. Field judge is Michael Sheehan. Ken Baker, the side judge. Mike Nevin is the back judge.
We have holding on the offense. Repeat, 3rd down.
So that wipes out the first down and a good run by Lorenzo White. And Bobby McAllister now looking for the play to come in from the sideline. Now he's got it.
Well, Keith, I think we saw the holding. It's going to be right here on Van Waiters by Kasevich. Grabs a hold of his jersey, holds on to him, and then just shoves him, which is legal. The shove is legal. The hold is not.
Double wide, bottom of the picture, 3 wide outs. McAllister gives it to White. White cuts it up the middle, and Michigan State will punt it. They tried to spread out the Indiana defense, but a typical Mallory team, the Hoosiers stayed at home, did not give up the lanes, and they get White short of any sizable gain.
Crowd's a little anxious here. There were a couple of boos in there on 3rd down and running. I think George Perlis just wants to ease into this game, not do anything that's going to give Indiana any more momentum than they might have at this point.
Well, you can see by those numbers he has an outstanding punter. That can be a weapon for you, a big weapon, and Montgomery has been that. The Hoosiers come up. There are 10 people up there. They're going after him. He knocks it out of there, and it's a beauty. And it runs Tony Buford all the way back inside the 15. And he comes back to about the 22. Good coverage by the Spartans. This is what I mean about a punter being a weapon. That is a 57-yard punt. And Carlos Jenkins downfield in a hurry to bring Buford down. All right, Jim, thank you. And here, the field is now almost covered by Shettle as Indiana comes in for its 2nd possession of the ball game, leading 3-0 with 8 minutes and 37 seconds to play in the first quarter. The football is at the Hoosier 22. Andre Powell is the fullback. Anthony Thompson, I want to call him Thomas for some reason. Thompson is the tailback, and Thompson has the ball bouncing outside with it. He's shirt-tailed by Percy Snow. Snow stepped through the middle, and with good speed ran him down.
Snow leads the team in tackles, and as we showed you on that graphic in our opening, the tackles for loss in the Big Ten, Michigan State is third coming in. They lead the Big Ten in sacks. They are very aggressive. That time Indiana trying to run around in and not successful.
George Furless told us yesterday that he thought Indiana would have to bounce outside if they were to gain a whole lot of yards on the ground. And they have started doing it already. That's almost motion. I think it is motion because the penalty flag comes flying out of the linesman's pocket as Andre Powell carries and Percy Snow gets another tackle. Got to set a second. Procedure call against the Hoosiers. Little mistakes.
Well, both of these teams, Keith, have been penalized a great deal this season. Take a look at the motion. He turns forward a little bit too soon. Now, if he would have went there and set for a second, it would have been legal.
Have illegal motion against the offense. We will repeat second down.
So that backs them up 5. The ball coming back to the 18-yard line.
Just to finish,
they need 14.
Finish my point about these two teams and their mistakes. Penalty-wise, Michigan State is the most penalized team in the Big Ten. Not surprising when you have an aggressive style of defense.
Right.
Indiana, however, is the second from the bottom, or second from the most penalized team in the Big Ten. So their defense, although it's a conservative one, also gets penalized a lot.
Students of Michigan State on that corner over there, and they're making a lot of noise as that pass thrown low ricochets off the shoulder pad of one of the linemen. I guess it might have been Davis again. Travis waving at it. He knocked one aside early on. And so now the Hoosiers look at third down and 14. When you come into a big ball game like this, it is not an unwise thing to do to be a little deliberate in the early going.
There's no question about that.
Wound up.
And Indiana has done that. They have thrown shorter passes, which have been successful. Michigan State declined to throw on third and long when they were backed up in their own territory.
Buford and Jones, the wideouts. They're coming to the same side as Jones comes in motion and Cramey back to throw. Pressure thrown, pass away, incomplete. It was Jordan, the tight end, crossing the intended receiver, but Travis Davis had broken loose, and it was right in the face of Cramey when he threw the ball.
Travis Davis has had an outstanding year. He had 5 sacks against Ohio State, which was a Michigan State record. He has 10 for the year, which leads the Big Ten. And he is the beneficiary of the double teaming that his defensive tackle next to him is getting. Mark Nichols is getting so much respect that they double team him. That leaves Travis Davis one-on-one.
Dan Straczynski in the punt. Gets it out of there with no pressure. Todd Crum backs up into the bright sun, takes it at the 41. Good return for Crum as he crosses midfield. And on its second possession, the Michigan State Spartans have it on the Indiana side of midfield at the 48-yard line. That was a 41-yard punt. So remember, Montgomery hit a 57-yarder in his first punt at 16 yards plus, and the defense stopped them there. So the Tigers, so tough in Death Valley. Now Michigan State with the ball. Second possession. They're warmed up. Good field position. They may open the throttle a little bit here. Andre Rison, Willie Boyer, the wide people. That is Rison in motion. Brings him to the same side as Boyer. And here's McAllister's pulling the pass down and deciding to run it. Turns it upfield, and he's brought down by Van Waiters. And here's Mike Adam Lee.
Well, Keith, in addition for the Rose Bowl berth being on the line in the Big Ten Championship, Michigan State and Indiana are also playing for something else that a lot of people don't know about. You've heard about the Little Brown Jug between Michigan and Minnesota, the Old Oaken Bucket between Indiana and Purdue next week. Well, Michigan State and Indiana since 1950 have been playing for the old brass spittoon. And after this play, we'll talk to you about that in a second.
McAllister looks, can't find anybody, and takes off. He's a good runner, and he's down to the 41-yard line. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, to continue with that story, I talked to a lot of people. They didn't know that this thing existed, but it has since 1950. Last year, as a matter of fact, Indiana won the old brass spittoon, 17-14. After the game, word has it that one of the things that Coach Bill Mallory said was, hey, where's that spittoon? Well, Michigan State couldn't find it. They later had to send it to Indiana, and today Bill Mallory brought it back, and he'll be giving it back to Michigan State if Indiana loses. Some interesting Big Ten lore. Keith?
Where'd it come from? Out of the railroad car.
I bet not one of these players is worried about that spittoon today.
That's right.
Yes, it's full of roses.
They don't shoot. 3rd down, 2. Or thereabouts, as McAllister again wants to throw it. Again, can't find anybody. And the ball squirts loose. But I think they're calling him down, and they are calling him down. He'll be down around the 42-yard line. But what that's going to do is bring up 4th down. And it's going to bring Montgomery in to punt.
The defensive coordinator for the Hoosiers, Joe Novak, was more concerned with McAllister's running than he was with his throwing. He says, I hope he throws the ball. We want him to throw it. The ball came out right there, but it was after he was down. He is more dangerous to Indiana as a runner than he is a thrower.
Montgomery's in to punt now. He wants to hit a little knuckleball and hang it up there a while. Buford is deep, standing back at his 10. Gets it high, and Buford comes up and wisely calls fair catch, and Montgomery didn't quite get what he wanted. The ball got up, stood on its tail and just laid there, and they wound up with decent field position out of it actually at their own 18-yard line. Michigan State hockey team beat Michigan last night 6-3 here at home. So Tony Mandarich, a big offensive tackle for George Perlis, comes out of Canada. He's a skater.
6'5", 300.
They ought to let him warm up at least. Just warm up with the hockey team. That scared the other folks half to death. Just see that big elephant out there on skates. Craney rolls out. Sideline pattern incomplete. Pass intended for Ernie Jones. Ernie has had one hit him in the hands, but he was looking right into the bright sun. Don't think he ever saw the ball and didn't hold on. Otherwise, he hasn't really had a chance to catch one.
Well, Indiana did the right thing this time, Keith. They threw away from the sun. They threw to the wide side, which was left, which is in the shade. And like we said, it's tough for a receiver to look back in that sun. They threw to the right side of the screen now as you're looking, and that's the side they should be throwing to.
2nd down and 10 now.
Craney is 2 of 8 for only 24 yards. He's missed on his last 5.
Got Jones in motion, going back toward the ball. Pressure on. Craney down inside the 5. Mark Nichols and Jim Szymanski. Szymanski at the end, and Nichols the tackle on the same side.
Take a look at it from the offensive side. A play-action fake. Craney cannot see the rush coming at him. Nichols, 83, gets there first. Szymanski, 91, helps out, but the sack goes to Nichols. This offensive line has been very good all year protecting the quarterback, but they have not faced the #1 sack team in the Big Ten, Michigan State.
And it brings up 3rd and 24 for Indiana. You may very well see him run the football right here. Holtz and Thompson out of the eye behind Craney. Oh, he's going to put it up out of the end zone for Jordan, the tight end. Drilled him too. Beautiful pass by Craney, but it is well short of the 1st down. He got the ball out to the 24-yard line, but he had to get it to the 29.
I can't tell you how good a pass this is. He rose, so he has good vision. Maybe you can see there he is right there. He throws it behind one defender, the linebacker. An outstanding throw and catch by Jordan. Tells you a little bit about Mallory and what he thinks about Cramey, his backup, quote-unquote, quarterback. They let him throw out of his own end zone this early in the game.
Hoosiers leading 3-0. Will have to punt the ball now. Straczynski's first kick was for 41. Think this one just a bit, but it's a tail dragger and takes an Indiana roll, except Crum won't let it roll. He comes right to it and grabs it. And that's good thinking on Todd Crum's part, because if he doesn't come up and catch that ball on the first bounce, it's probably still rolling. Winds up a 33-yard punt. Quite a doubleheader for you next week. 2 games that are loaded with tradition and pride and bragging rights and all that kind of stuff. We open it with Michigan and Ohio State at Ann Arbor and come right back after that game with USC-UCLA at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The USC-UCLA game will be a Rose Bowl decider out west. Here's Lorenzo White. Straight ahead. I say it'll be a decider, but USC's got to handle a tough Arizona Wildcat team today, and UCLA was leading Washington in the Rose Bowl at Pasadena, their home field, 13-0 a little bit ago.
UCLA has not beaten Washington in the last 4 years.
They're liable to today. Though the Bruins still don't have Gaston Green, Brian Brown banged up. They lost Melvin Jackson, an outside linebacker, so their injury is depleting their bountiful roster somewhat. This is Lorenzo White. First down, Michigan State at the Indiana 31. Brian DeWitt saved the touchdown.
Watch the blocking now. As Shermer right here in front is going to get a nice block. These 2 men will work well over here, and White takes a straight handoff and a huge hole for Lorenzo.
You give him that much daylight, and he will put a hole in. He'll put 6 points on the board. That's what he'll do. Bounces outside. He has that wonderful ability to read so quickly, and those great feet, quick feet. He just bounces until he finds the crack.
The thing that scares you about Lorenzo White is his ability to cut back. And what that does to the defense is it doesn't allow the defense to flow as quickly. When he's running left, the right side linebackers can't flow as quickly because he may cut back. And that gives him the outside if he can get there, because the pursuit won't be as great.
Spartans have run it 9 times. They've shown pass 3 times, but those pass plays shown have resulted in runs. And White, look at that. Now, number 45, Eric Hickerson, was left grasping clean, clear autumn air. I mean, it looked like he had every chance in the world to nail him behind the line of scrimmage, and poof, White was gone.
Well, not only was Hickerson fooled, but he is the cornerback. Now, what they're doing is Indiana is blitzing their corner and their strong safety in running situations to stop the run. Not against the pass, they're doing it to stop the run.
White now 7 carries and 47 yards. It's 2nd down and 6. Lorenzo's got it again, cuts it back, and a penalty flag. Came from the pocket of the referee, Tom Quinn.
Tackle by Sam, 91, Jim Sam.
Second holding call of the ball game against Michigan State.
Holding on the offense. Repeat 2nd down.
Got to keep your hands inside the frame. Well, he did that all right, except he had a handful of cloth.
Bobby McAllister looking to the sideline for the play. Early in the season, he was wearing a wristband to help him with the calls. Sometimes they would just flash a number that corresponded to the wristband, and he would look there for the play.
2nd down, about 13. White. There he goes. 1st and goal at the 3.
Gusevich, the tight end, pulled. Makes a couple of nice moves. You know, watch Mandarich, number 79. He's 300 pounds. He comes and gets one of the linebackers. The tight end goes up inside. Lorenzo White likes to run against Indiana. 286 yards 2 years ago.
First and goal from the 3. White up the middle to about the 2. Lorenzo White has carried the ball on every play in this possession. In the game now with 10 carries, he has 70 yards. And George Perlis is letting him carry it like John McKay said years ago. Ain't heavy. You don't belong to no union. Second and goal. White going outside. Good pursuit by number 42, Andre Hall, the strong safety. And real estate gets tough down there because those safeties and corners all get right up along the line of scrimmage. So the first quarter is over. 3-0 Indiana, Michigan State threatening. All right, Al, here Indiana leads 3-0 as we start the second quarter of play, but Michigan State knock it on the door. Third down, the ball is resting just inside the 5. It'll be officially the 4-yard line where this play will come from. Hoosiers have bowed their neck since Michigan State had a first and goal at the 3. It's White. Touchdown.
Take a look at the right side as the left side of the Spartan offensive line behind Mandarich and Kula just blow him off into the end zone. Take a look at it from ground level. Huff, 35, has got to get outside for support. Sargent blocks him out, and they go inside for the touchdown.
Langlow's extra point is good. So the Michigan State Spartans use 8 plays to go 51 yards, all of it by Lorenzo White. It is said that the game of football is really the acquisition of real estate, and Lorenzo White has just earned his full commission.
Certainly has. Well, we said in the opening, as you take a look at Lorenzo, that Michigan State had to be able to run, that McAllister can throw the ball, but he needs the running game to be able to throw it. On the other side, we said that Indiana is going to have to be able to pass because we don't think they're going to run that much. And I think that's so far is held true. Indiana getting a field goal on their first drive. Game going pretty much true to form so far as the shade now has completely covered the football field, and that's for the offensive backs and receivers and the defensive backs. I'm sure they're happy about that.
If Michigan State wins the game, they win the ticket to the Rose Bowl. If Indiana should win the game, they will have to beat Purdue next week to lock the Rose Bowl.
And neither of these teams have been to the Rose Bowl in over 20 years. Well, I guess for Indiana, it's been just at 20. And Michigan State, what, 22, I believe it is.
Jones, Allen, Washington are the deep people. Jones may be the more dangerous. Langlow's kickoff. Got it up very high. Goes to Allen. They don't want Jones to have it. Allen wraps his arms around it and comes back to the 20-yard line where Dixon Edwards takes him down. Well, they go to the Rocky Mountain country for ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. There's a penalty flag on the field as the Chicago Bears and the Denver Broncos will butt heads. And it'll be a good ball game. The Bears have been pulling them out, and pulling them out. Clipping call against Indiana.
That should be a dandy of a ball game Monday night, Keith, with Chicago going to Denver. It could be a preview of the Super Bowl. Both teams certainly are well stocked with talent.
Broncos have been damaged some, though, by loss of running backs. They've had their fair share of injuries so far this season, but Elway's healthy. First quarter numbers are these.
As you see there, the rushing yardage, only 3 for Indiana. That's not a surprise when you play Michigan State. The 70 rushing yards and no passing yards for Michigan State. I really believe that kind of trend is going to continue the rest of the game.
All right, the clipping call puts the ball back inside, just inside the 10. Howell is the fullback. Thompson is the tailback. Ramey the quarterback. This is Thompson. Can't get around the corner. It was John Miller and Mark Nichols that did the job. Miller came to the outside, forced him to turn it back inside, and when he turned inside, there was big Mark Nichols.
And here is Nichols here, Keith. Now the guard is here, and he's going to pull. When the guard pulls, Nichols just follows him, saying, hey, if you're going out there, something tells me the ball eventually will be there. As you see him shed the block of the fullback and gets over and makes the tackle. An outstanding player. Perlis was saying yesterday he's got all the moves.
Loss on the play of about 3 yards. Call it second down and 13. Ramey want to throw it out of his end zone. Gets it away too high and incomplete. It was intended for Powell coming out of the backfield, but in fact Miller had the better chance to catch the ball, and there is another penalty flag. Holding. It's a time, as Frank Royal used to say, it's a time for poise, poise, poise on Indiana's part here. Oklahoma State opening it up. And so is Tennessee, for that matter. The ball is now back at the 7-yard line of Indiana. On that last play, I was sort of reminded of the older Walter Camp comment from that book that I was toting around for a while, where it says the idea is for the opening of the hole is to not let the enemy in, but keep the sortie going out. Didn't work.
And before it closes.
That's right. Ramey again throws it out of the end zone, deep downfield, and it is incomplete, intended for Ernie Jones. Covered by Derek Reed, who came to Michigan State from Southern Methodist. Now the Hoosiers are going to have to punt the ball out of the end zone, and the Spartans should have it in pretty good field position, with sure-handed Todd Crum back there to handle the punt from Dan Straczynski.
The key thing for Indiana to realize is not to panic. This is a tough defense they're playing against. It's going to be a low-scoring game. We have plenty of opportunities to move the football.
Martin's loaded up front. All 10 of them up there. And Straczynski gets a good high-hanging kick out of the end zone. Runs Crum back to the 45, but he's got some room to run with it and returns the ball inside the 45 down to the Indiana 44. That's a 48-yard punt out of the end zone, a 12-yard return, the tackle by Derek Daniels. And I think we've got another flag by laying back down around the 10-yard line. Let's see what Tom Quinn has to say about it. Well, it's holding against Michigan State.
Well, it's not surprising that we're having so many penalties here early in the game. Both of these teams, as I mentioned, very highly penalized up until this point. You look at the field position for both. Before this penalty, Michigan State was going to get the ball for the second time in Hoosier territory, and of course the penalty will back them up some, but there's no question that they're getting the better end of the field position.
We have holding by the receiving team. It's a post-scrimmage kick spot foul. It'll be enforced at the end of the kick, where the kick ended.
So that's a big penalty because they had the ball down at the Indiana 44. The ball was accepted back at about the 45.
It looks like a 20-yard penalty to me.
It's a 20-yard penalty. Well, it's enforced at the point where the kick ended.
You mean where he was tackled?
No. Where
he caught it.
Where he caught it.
So that's what they did.
So it's first down at the 36. White. Oh, what a hole. My gosh, you could have driven the laundry truck and 3 automobiles through that one as he crosses the midfield stripe to the 49 of Indiana.
Well, they're running to their left again behind Kula and Mandarich. And when you've got something going, you keep going until they stop it. A huge hole as DeWitt, number 13, who played quarterback last year for Indiana, in fact, started 6 games, now has to step up and see Lorenzo Wright coming at him.
Looked like a blur, didn't it? Got it again. And we'll pick up 2 yards on that carry as Darren Bush, the junior from Massillon, Ohio, brings him down. Well, Ohio State and Iowa having a fair to Midland war. If Indiana wins, I'll repeat it, Iowa stays alive in the Big Ten chase. Iowa loses, of course, they're out of it. Regardless. Just short of the 46. Second down and 7. Mandarich. Tony lost the count. Moved too soon.
Can you picture him on ice skates?
I'd love to see it.
6'5" and 300 pounds. You would think he would look like a Zamboni. Bottom left. There he goes. Just moving a little bit too soon. And you can't hide when 300 pounds moves early.
He's a big, good-looking youngster from Oakville, Ontario, but went to high school in Ohio, stayed with his brother who was going to school at Kent State. That's where he got his grooming for his career in college football in the United States.
Second and 12 from the Michigan State 49.
Well, let's call it second and 12 now from the Spartan 49. White has carried the ball on 10 straight plays and make it 11. There he goes outside. Van Waiters missed him. And he's close to a first down before Willie Bates gets him.
Take a look at Waiters, number 48 in white jersey. He gets blocked, keeps his outside position. 2 men blocking, both the fullback and the tight end, and then White just takes off around him. Great speed to get around him. That is Waiters' fault. That's his responsibility. Contain, turn everything back to the inside. That's why they put him to the wide side of the field. And last year he was very successful in stopping just that type of run.
With 12:34 to play in the first half, Lorenzo White's carried 15 times and he's over 100 yards. He's got 102 plus this. Boy, he is wound up today, isn't he? All the way down to the 21-yard line.
Mandarich, number 79, and Sargent, number 49, blocking straight out. Mandarich right there blowing his man off the line of scrimmage. If you're wondering why Lorenzo White is doing so well, part of the reason is Mandarich. They're running behind him most of the time.
He's now got 121 yards. And it's first down, Michigan State at the Hoosier 21. This time the fullback gets the call, and James Moore, a sophomore from Lansing, will pick up a couple of yards to about the 19.
That's just window dressing. Let the fullback carry it. Let him carry it now and then. Get White a rest. You know, and it was a play that White didn't have to do anything either, Keith. Just stand in the I formation and not do anything. We'll give it straight ahead to the fullback. You get a blow, and we'll give it to you this time.
Spartans have run it 20 times. They get to throw it. White. This time, it's Darren Bush, the inside backer, who had a crack and came flying through, and he nailed him back outside the 22.
Well, they're trying to change up. Here's Bush here. These two men are going to go to the inside, and Bush will come around to the outside to make the play. They're going straight blocking. See how it fouls up the blocking? The right tackle, Houle, couldn't get through to get on Bush. That time he scraped around the outside and made the play.
Michigan State here gets a little mixed up in its substitutions. And rather than make a mess of things, Andre Rison called a timeout. And here, Michigan State leads Indiana 7-3. And if the Spartans can win this ball game, they can lock a bowl trip to the west, to Pasadena. It is 3rd down and 12 now for Michigan State. Might see the first pass right here. Down the middle in the end zone, Rison, touchdown. Langlow the extra point. At 10:55 to go in the first half. 14-3 Michigan State.
Here's Rison right here. He's just going to go down and break a deep post. The key is these two people here. You run so much, the two safeties come up to force the run. It's play action on 3rd and long. Both safeties come up to make the tackle. There's no help in the deep middle of the field. Rison waits for the ball and makes the touchdown. Rison caught 54 passes last year, was all Big Ten, but his quarterback, Urema, left. He makes a good move to the outside. This is his 25th catch of the year. A very unselfish player makes a big catch right here.
All right, Bobby McAllister's first pass, first completion, big one.
He had 5 touchdowns coming into the day. He was the 7th-ranked quarterback in the Big Ten. He doesn't throw that often, but when you run as well as Michigan State, it sets up a lot of one-on-one situations. Rison, as I mentioned, made the All-Big Ten team last year. The receiver opposite him was Mark Ingram. He was the first-round draft choice for the New York Giants. They both came from the same high school and both played quarterback.
22-yard strike, 14-3. Michigan State, 10:55 to go. First half, Indiana now. They'll try to generate some offense.
And Rison's on the kickoff team. Because I can do a lot of things for us.
Allen, Jones, and Washington will go deep now for Indiana.
Keith, if the people are wondering about this game, this is nothing new for Indiana. Of their 7 wins this year, they've come from behind in the second half to win 5 of them. For some reason, they're a slow starter, but hang on. The fireworks will be in the second half for Indiana.
Langlow's kick, a high hanger, short, 16-yard line, dropped, fumbled, and recovered at the 20 by Ken Allen. Right now, the Hoosiers are sputtering. They were down 16-0 to Ohio State. Came storming back to win a ball game.
No sun to shine in his eyes here. Allen just a little bit too anxious.
Their field position hasn't been anything to write home about. 26, 22, 18, 10, and 19. And now they're going to start this time just short of the 20.
absolutely terrible field position, partly due because of the fact that Montgomery, Michigan State's punter, and you don't want to have to go the entire length of the field against the #3 defense in the country.
It does tend to get a little tiresome, doesn't it? Back goes Cramy to throw. Third time in the ball game, it's been deflected at the line of scrimmage. Third time. He's got to loop that ball a little more. That's also the third time that big Travis Davis has reached up and slapped it down.
Well, when you talk about quick release, you can tell when you keep getting balls knocked down, it's from the time you make up your mind to show pass till the ball is gone. Right there you see Davis, a blur. That's probably been the first time Davis has ever been called a blur, being as big as it is.
It is, yeah.
Gets his hand up and knocks it down.
255-pounder. Second down and 10. This time it's Thompson. Picks up a load out around the 23-yard line. Load in the main, Travis Davis, followed by Derek Reed.
Cramy now is 3 of 12 for 44 yards. He had 4 starts last year and 1 in 1985. As I mentioned, he is their 6th all-time passer. So with the absence of Dave Snell, who had the appendectomy last week, they still have a good quarterback to go to.
Third and a long 6. Shoots it down the middle to Buford. Depends on the mark. Where did he spot it? At the 30, it's a first down. Crowd hoots on it. Tony Buford, 165-pounder, took a pretty good wallop, but he had tucked it away.
Todd Crum, 35. Look at him right here. He looks to the left side all the way. He sees Buford coming in, and he's right there to make the hit. Crum was an outstanding player, also a baseball player, had an opportunity to sign with the Mets, but he said, I want to come back for my senior year. He leads the Big Ten in interceptions with 7.
So it's first down Hoosiers at the 30. Fullback. And pretty good lab drive for Tom Polks, 220-pounder. And he moves the ball out close to the 35-yard line. Still close. Iowa's gone back to the lead. Boy, they've had quite a war in that one. And look at this. Washington has bounced back to lead UCLA 14-13. Notre Dame, as Jim Hill told you a little while ago, beaten up on Alabama at halftime. I thought Alabama's speed might be a factor in that one, but Irish getting momentum every week. This is Polk, the fullback. About the line of scrimmage. Very slow play developing. And Michigan State just swarmed it at 8:40 to go in the first half.
Nichols and Larson made the tackle.
I might tell you that economically speaking, green and white bread sales at an all-time high this week, and so are roses around the Lansing, East Lansing area.
Well, it's not hard to tell. The left side of your picture there, you can see some red in the end zone, the corner of the end zone. That's where the Indiana faithful are located. The rest of the stadium is spotted with white and green.
Only got 2,500 tickets. Sold them all in a hurry. Cramy's pass drilled to his tight end Jordan, and he picks up a first down on the catch. So Tim Jordan, the junior from Westchester, Ohio, keeps the Hoosiers moving. He's made 3 catches for 39 yards.
Cramy turns and looks to his right initially, which is a help, then throws to his tight end crossing. That was his first completion of the day. Jordan came into this game with 25 receptions and has become more and more of a target as the season has progressed for the Hoosiers.
First down at their own 43, with Michigan State leading 14-3 in the second quarter. And Cramy stays in the air. Goes down as Mark Nichols comes firing in, the ball rolling around. And Michigan State comes out of there with it. Nichols knocked it loose.
Watch Nichols to the right side of your screen, fighting off the block of Schrader, gets around and makes the hit. We told you that Michigan State is an aggressive, big play defense. Here again, they knock the ball free and give good field position to their offense.
Kurt Larson, linebacker, recovered it. Spartans first down. Indiana 44. Lorenzo White to the 40. There's the redhead, Dave Craney. Having a hard time so far against the Spartan defense.
One thing that Mallory has done for this Indiana ball club is hard work. They have a positive attitude. They stay together as a team. They realize they're not the greatest talent in the world, especially on defense, but they get it done. They believe in each other, and great leadership.
Second down 6. White again behind the line of scrimmage. Number 54, Doug Schlereth, junior from Biddeford, Maine. He's one of the 3 or 4 Hoosiers who like to go to the weight room at 5 a.m. in the morning.
No, thank you. But this is one of the things that IU has to do with their defensive line. They have to slant it one way or the other. Michigan State's offensive line is too big to stay there and let you come out and block you straight on. They've got to mix it up, slant one way or the other, so you don't have those huge gaping holes for those linebackers to have to step up and fill.
3rd and 8. McAllister shows pass, will put it up. Risen, one-handed grab.
You talk about big players making big plays in big games. Lorenzo White has already rushed for over 125 yards. Their other big player is this man right here. Watch this catch. That's a one-handed catch all the way. Tell you, it's nice to see players rise to the occasion. And I'm not pulling for Michigan State. I'm just saying that Michigan State's making some plays. Outstanding catch.
Joe Ziegler, number 16, is injured on the field, off the field actually, on the sidelines, just now beginning to come around, and you've got timeout. There's Joe Ziegler. He's up and about. Looks like it might be somewhere in that knee or ankle, somewhere in that vicinity, but obviously in some pain. A sophomore from Miami. All right, it's Michigan State's ball, first down at the Indiana 23. Mike Dumas, a freshman, goes into the ball game for Indiana at that cornerback position.
And he's a true freshman, Keith, and he's covering Risen.
Lorenzo White from the 23 to about the 19, 4 yards on the carry. And watch the work of Mr. Mandarich, 7 to 9.
Second man to the inside with a green jersey right there. Blocking on the big linebacker, Waiters. Waiters does a little ole at the end. Mandarich was saying this week that last year's game, Waiters got the best of it. Perlis was saying yesterday that this kid is a mean kid, and he says he's looking to get even.
Here's the pitch back to White. Can't bounce this one outside. There's a penalty flag down. Number 42, Andre Hall, a strong safety, had penetrated and ran him back into Waiters. It's interesting as we get the penalty call indicated, I think, against Michigan State, that in the opening game of the season, they put Mandarich over on Marcus Cotton and handled him pretty well. And now here against another outside linebacker of outstanding quality, they put big Mandarich on him.
We have a hurdling foul. Okay.
Personal foul, Michigan State.
George a little upset over the call.
George is a defensive lineman by trade. Gets a little hot under the collar now and then, which defensive linemen have to do. Here's Waiters, 48. Let's see if it was holding. No, it was not there. Take a look at Mandrich, 79. See if he was holding. Yeah, right there. His left arm was outstretched across. I don't know, though. When the defensive man turns and doesn't present the front of his body to you and you turn, the offensive man has a right to have his arm slip around the side.
The second and 24 from the 37.
From the 37. After the penalty, they've got to go to the 13. So they need 24 and McAllister back. He gave up on the pass. He only had 2 men deep, 1 man short. James Moore, he couldn't see Moore. And he finally pulled it back down, and they deck him back around the 41-yard line. Iowa has defeated Ohio State 29-27. That's the final score. So the Hawkeyes survive a narrow one against the Buckeyes.
They're still in the hunt for a very nice bowl trip.
Oh, yeah.
And they can possibly still be in the hunt for the Rose Bowl if things work out.
Now let's call it 3rd and 29 after that last loss. McAllister gave up pretty quick on his pass routes. Nobody coming back toward him. Probably made the better decision. Bobby back to throw again. This time he throws it over to Lorenzo White, who makes a one-handed grab and turns in a big play down to about the 30. But that'll be 4th down and probably Langlo into the game. At 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Nice call here, Morris Watts, the offensive coordinator. 3rd and real long. Don't do anything stupid. A screen pass. Let's throw a screen pass. Let our halfback, our All-American halfback, make a great catch and get some yardage and move us into field goal range, and we'll send out our kicker. Good call.
So the ball is just short of the 30. The tee is put down at the 37. So it'll be a 47-yard try. Go. Hit the bar. Bounce over.
A few games back, Langlo had an opportunity to kick the winning field goal against Illinois. He kicked it low into the line, and they tied that game. Here's a very big out of the signpost on the road to the Rose Bowl for Michigan State.
At 3:24 to go in the half, it's now 17-3. Spartans.
These kickers help each other out. That's Montgomery, 23, with the good hands and a perfect hold. They got their lucky green shirts on today.
Langlo will now kick off for Michigan State. Let's see if he kicks to Allen again. He's kicked it right at him 3 straight times so far in the ball game, and now they reverse it. They put Jones over there, and Jones, Ernie's got it, and looks for an opening and comes up across the 25 to the 26. Mike Adamle.
Well, Keith, all week long we've read stories about how things are kind of dead in Bloomington. Not too many people are psyched up about their great football team, and that's the reason why that is because they're all here in East Lansing. Silence! 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 They're down 17-3, but they're still enthusiastic. Clem Harrison, her son, number 92, Nolan Harrison, playing a good game. Basketball isn't the only sport in Indiana, is it?
No, football is. Football is the best.
It's been exciting so far this year, hasn't it?
Oh, yes, so far. And we're going to go all the way to the bowl.
Get some points on the board.
Ramey, no. Intended for Kenny Allen. So it looks like now that Bill Mallory has decided that he's not going to be able to run the ball much, so he's committing himself to the pass.
Well, we said at the top that the balance of this game rode on the shoulders of Cramy. We didn't think that they would be able to get a running game going. The thing they need to do is be able to get the ball to Ernie Jones a little bit more. He came in having caught 54 passes and 12 touchdowns. In fact, he's caught a TD pass in 8 of their 9 games. He is their big play receiver.
Very good after he catches the ball. This is Thompson. And Anthony struggles out to about the 30 in the arms of Larson and Snow. And you're now at 3 minutes to go, and that's what we'll have for you at halftime. Prudential halftime report doing a rundown of all of that which has been happening around the country.
It is 3rd and 6 from the 30.
Third and 6 for the Hoosiers. Great throw, great catch, Jones. Ernie Jones is still going inside the 35-yard line. Wow, great play, Ernie, and a heck of a pass by Cramy. 37-yard pickup on the play.
Michigan State, now that they've shut down the run, is going to try and shut down Ernie Jones. Watch the 2 men right here. They'll double him in and out. He's just going to go down and break between them. It's an outstanding throw. The man over him jumps to the outside. The other man is inside. Cramy just throws it right between them. Crum, 35, as surprised as he can be. And a nice run by Jones.
Cramy takes a pretty good lick, too, after he released the ball. So the Hoosiers now with a little something at hand. Inside the 35, run a reverse. This is Ernie Jones. Got some daylight up the middle and knocked off balance. And down by Kurt Larson, number 3. Larson may have saved a big play right there.
You got to give credit to Nick Saban, the defensive coordinator, for really structuring this defense. Whoever is responsible for the reverse is always there, and Larson was there that time. It's another effort by Indiana to get the ball in the hands of Ernie Jones so he can use some of his running ability to make the big play.
Second down and 12, a loss of 2. Rob Turner is in at flanker right now for Indiana. The Hoosiers with 96 yards passing, 8 yards running. Cramy has some time, goes big with it, and it is intercepted in the end zone, intended for Allen, and coming down with it, Todd Crum.
It's a poor throw by Cramy. It's really a throw out of frustration. Man wasn't open. Here's the receiver here. He's going to go straight down. Crum is here. The defensive back on this side will be there also. And he's not open at all. To the far right of your screen, watch Crum jumps and takes the ball away. Cramy made a very poor decision to throw it. Sometimes when things aren't going right, you do these things out of frustration. Crum leads the Big Ten in interceptions. He now has 8.
1:15 to go in the first half. This ABC Sports Exclusive brought to you by New York Life, to help you get the most out of life. And by Michelob Light. When the sun goes down, light up the night with Michelob Light.
Todd Crum was a corner last year, and they didn't feel like he had enough speed on the corner, and he switched to safety, lost some weight, picked up a couple of tenths in the 40-yard dash, and is doing very well.
First down at the 20, and carrying is Lorenzo White for 3 yards, and he's now got 123 yards on 22 carries. Well, he came to defend the weak. Now he is the hunted Sable tonight on ABC. Then somebody's trying to rip off $500,000. Bad idea. when O'Hara's in your ballpark. Pat Morita, the star, followed by Hotel tonight on ABC. Second down, 7 for the Spartans. They lead 17-3, and Lorenzo White working hard today and having a big day. Eric Hickerson, that tackle for Indiana. I don't believe that George Perles' game plan, Bob, was to let White do that much work. But when you're hot, right?
23-5.
They're going to let the clock run down. First half is over. And the Michigan State Spartans lead the Indiana Hoosiers 17-3 at halftime. If the Spartans win the game, the Rose Bowl trip belongs to them. Back here in East Lansing, Michigan, 17-3. Michigan State leading. Stoyanovich gave Indiana the lead off the opening possession, a 49-yard field goal, 3-0. But then the Spartans came storming back. Lorenzo White, who had a big first half, 4-yard touchdown run here to make it 7-3 Michigan State. Now watch this. McAllister pass 22 yards to Arnie Rison. Touchdown. That made it 14-3. Andre going high for this one. That was the first pass thrown by McAllister, and he nailed his man in the end zone. Then Langlow, 47-yard field goal try, arched it high into the air, no wind on the field, and it stayed up, and it stayed up, and it stayed up, and then it came down on the crossbar. Good. That's where we are, 17-3. Indiana making a late threat to close out the half. Ramey throws into the end zone, an ill-advised throw, really, because Allen, his intended receiver, was not available, double covered, and it was intercepted by Todd Crum, and that's how we ended at halftime. And as we come to halftime, let's turn to Bob Griese and talk about what's going on in those two locker rooms.
Well, it's going to be interesting conversations. I'm reminded of Indiana, what happened a few weeks ago against Ohio State when they were down by so many points. Bill Mallory told us that before the coaches even got into the locker room, the seniors, headed by Van Waiters, already had the group gathered together and were telling them exactly what the coaches were going to tell them. We need to get fired up and go out and win this ball game. But I suspect that George Perles is going to have a tougher time getting his players up the second half than Bill Mallory is. Mallory's groups have done this before. They've come back 5 out of 7 wins this year when they were behind at halftime. Perles has got to convince his guys that this season is not over. We have not won the trip to the Rose Bowl. And Mallory has to tell his, just because we've done it before doesn't mean we're going to go out and do it again. The effort has to be there.
Well, now, we ran into an old friend yesterday, a man that I've known a long time, who's influenced a lot of people. He was a player here at Michigan State. He's coached collegiately and professionally. He has cancer. It may or may not be terminal. They don't know. But whatever it is, nobody faces up to a problem, I don't think, with any more courage than my friend, Raleigh Dodge. Here's a conversation.
Oh, it was kind of a tough poker hand, but that's part of life, and you can do one of two things. You can sit back and wilt, or you can go on and fight it, and I'm enjoying every minute and hope that things work out. And I'm here to see a great football game, and George Perles and his team are very special to me, and I'm very partial, so I'll be pulling for the Spartans. And I had some great experiences under Biggie Munn and Duffy Doherty, Keith, and it's just a pleasure to be back home.
Bless his heart, he's got to be happy watching a good football game. He's a heck of a man. He's a symbol of courage, considering the problem he faces right now. At halftime, Michigan State 17 and Indiana 3. We are now ready for the second half at Spartan Stadium, and this ABC Sports exclusive brought to you by Honda America, who invites you to experience the all-new CRX SI at your local Honda dealer. And by Domino's Pizza, because Domino Pizza delivers.
Take a look at the statistics at halftime. Look at the bottom. The time of possession is pretty much even. 31 plays for Michigan State and 30 for IU. The 2 turnovers were big. Also the rushing yardage for Indiana. Only 8 yards rushing. They've got to throw to win. Michigan State, 130 yards rushing. Individually, the offensive leaders, McAllister for Michigan State has hit on all 3 and a touchdown. White has been the offense. Rison has caught 2 and 1 touchdown. The leading tacklers, the middle linebacker, no surprise there, Percy Snow. And for IU, Cramey has got to play better the second half, 6 of 17. Thompson will probably be used as a receiver out of the backfield. Jordan, the leading receiver at tight end. And DeWitt's, the free safety, is the leading tackle.
And it's time to go with the second half as the Hoosiers will kick off. Michigan State at the outset had won the toss and elected to defer, accepting the second half kickoff, so the Spartans will have that first possession. Leading 17-3. Stoyanovich, feet ready. Nails it. By drifter, Ezor, 3, 20, 30. Goodbye. Number 6 runs him down. Eric Coleman can run. I know Ezor can fly, and Coleman ran him down. 90-yard return.
Shadow of Lorenzo White all year long. Obviously, Perlis told him that Indiana is a second-half ball club, and this will do more than anything else to deflate their egos coming out here the second half.
That's his first appearance of the day in handling the ball, and that loud noise coming from the Ezor home in Las Vegas, don't worry about it. It'll subside a little while. Handoff goes to Lorenzo White, and White slams it inside the 5.
Oh, yeah, man. Put the first time,
Ball is just inside the 2. White picked up about 7 yards on that carry. There's Blake Ezor. He's only a sophomore.
His father called George Perlis and said, "I've got a son for you. I think he's pretty good." Perlis says, "Oh, no, not another father recommending his son." When Perlis found out that Penn State, Notre Dame, and Miami was after him, he was interested.
Lorenzo White, no, just about, but not quite. So it'll be 3rd down and goal.
Not only was Perlis interested in Blake Ezor, but when he found out he was a consensus parade All-American, he was very interested, and he said his father delivered it. He said Blake didn't want to go here, but his father, who had known Perlis from Pittsburgh, and when the Steeler coaches visited Las Vegas, delivered him to Michigan State because he says, "I want my son playing for George Perlis."
It is 3rd and goal and a half a yard. Guess who's going to get it? Lorenzo fumbles. Michigan State keeps it. Indiana man had it, but James rolled over the top of it, and James Moore recovered it. Number 33. I think Darren Bush was the Indiana man that stuck his head in there, number 40, and knocked that ball out.
Well, this is a true test for the Indiana Hoosiers coming out the second half with the history that they've had. A big hit there. You just can't come up with a football.
And that brings up 4th down, and in comes Langloh. That's a test of their mettle, isn't it?
No question. Hickerson with the hit that caused the fumble.
Langlo from 21 yards. Almost blocked, but it is good. Mike Dumas, the cornerback, had a shot at it, just missed it. And so Michigan State settles for the field goal to lead 20-3. They had it first and goal on the 8 and couldn't stick it in the end zone. But they get 3. You've got 12:34 to go in the third quarter, and yes, roses are moving.
Over Indiana's last 5 games, the Hoosiers have outscored their opponents 79-18 and have not allowed a touchdown in the third quarter.
Well, they have still not allowed a touchdown in the third quarter, but Michigan State just dinged them for a field goal after that 90-yard kickoff return by Blake Ezor. The Spartans have run off 20 unanswered points to lead 20-3. So now let's see if the Hoosiers can pick themselves up after that gallant goal line stand. Back go the 3 men, Washington, Jones, and Allen. Last time they were back there, Jones, who's in the middle, Michigan State's Langlo kept kicking the ball away from him to Allen, and he and Allen reversed positions so that Ernie finally got a chance to return a kick. See if they do it this time. Nope. And Langlo hits it down the side, goes toward Washington. Spud's got it at the 12. Pops it up, across the 30. Good return out to the 32.
Take a look at the possessions. They started in their own territory, no better than their own 26. And keep in mind, they're going against the number 3 defense in the country. Their last 2 possessions were turnovers, a fumble and an interception.
So this is their best starting point in the ball game at their own 33-yard line. Just getting underway here in the second half. It's been a second half team, remember. And Cramey's coming out throwing underneath Thompson. And the tailback will go down at about the 39 with a hit from Kurt Larson. And just like Bob called it, they start using Thompson as a short receiver.
Well, he's caught 16 passes coming into the game, and if they can't get him the ball by handing it to him to run, they'll swing it out of the backfield and get him the ball in broken in the field and see if he can make something happen that way.
It's second down at about 4. Holtz is the fullback. That's Ernie Jones in motion. And the fullback left side, big hole, big gain, and first down, Indiana at the Michigan State 47-yard line. Tom Holtz. How do you figure a team that can come out like this in the second half and play so much better than they have in the first half?
If I knew, I would bottle it and sell it. Watch here as Post gets a good block on Snow. Good blocking up front. 64 is Radke. Nice block at the point of attack. Post, the fullback, doesn't carry the ball very often. I asked Mallory that same question, and he said he doesn't know. He said they're just slow starters.
On first down, Cramey to pass. Zips one, dropped by the tight end. Tim Jordan had the ball in his hands. It had a lot of zip on it, and it just spun out of his grasp. That's one he should have taken on the numbers.
The one thing I've noticed in this drive, similar to what they did last week against Illinois when they come out after half when they were behind, they started with short passes to try and get something going. The other thing that I noticed was their special teams made some big plays to help get them back in the ball game.
Michigan State, 47.
Second down and 10 from the Spartan 47. Thompson going outside. And there just isn't much doing, is there? Not against these flying defensive people. I mean, they really run to the ball. Crum, the free safety, and Snow, the middle linebacker.
8 starters returned from this Michigan State defense that was one of the top defensive units in the Big Ten last year.
There is no substitute on either side of the ball for foot speed.
There's no doubt about that. UCLA has proven that and done it year after year.
3rd down and 6. Cramy trying to throw for Ernie Jones and did not have enough on it. And the ball could have been picked off by Tim Moore, strong side backer.
Travis Davis, 75, gets penetration into the pocket. You see him right there if you look closely. And he, as much as anyone else, was responsible for that poor throw.
And so the punter, Straczynski, comes into the ball game. 41, 33, and 48 on his 3 previous punts. Todd Crum deep for Michigan State. Hangs it up there. Crum lets it go and go and go into the end zone. So the Spartans will come back to the 20, 1st down after a 43-yard punt, leading 20-3 with 10:19 to go in the 3rd quarter. All right, let's see what the Spartans can do with it. They had the ball 1st and goal off the Indiana 8-yard line after that long return of the kick by Blake Ezor and couldn't stick it in the end zone. Now they start 1st down at their own 20. McAllister, Moore, and White behind the center, and this is White. And Lorenzo having a big, big day. Runs it out to the 26. And Jim Sams, the nose guard, makes the tackle for Indiana. He's the junior out of Union, Iowa.
In the first half, Lorenzo White carried the ball 24 times. What was involved in 24 of the 32 plays. He also caught 1 pass, carried it 23 times, so he has been their offense here this afternoon.
Second and 4. White again. There's a 1st down as he crosses the 30. And he has now carried the ball 1,000 times in his career at Michigan State. 1,000 times.
He had an injury last year. It was an injury to his knee and his ankle. The knee got more publicity, but he said the ankle was the one that really kept him out of there. He's got big feet and big hands. In fact, he's only 5'11", but he wears 12.5 double E shoes and has good vision. He can make those cutbacks pretty quick.
It's a pretty good foundation, isn't it?
Good, solid foundation.
Fullback. Jim Moore gets a rare call in this ball game. Again, it's a matter of letting White have a breather without taking him out of the ball game as much as anything. Andre Rison caught that 22-yard bullet down the middle for the touchdown, but has been relatively quiet today. Boyer has not seen the ball, mainly because the Spartans haven't had to throw it yet. Right now, Indiana's got to stop him. White's grinding away at him. And he's up to about the 40-yard line on that carry and will be a half-yard short of the 1st down as Eric Hickerson and Willie Bates make the hit for Indiana. Next Saturday, Michigan, Ohio State, and Ann Arbor. That starts our day. And following, USC, UCLA. All begins at 12 Eastern Time. And UCLA has regained the lead over Washington, I understand, 19-14. What about USC, Arizona? That figured to be another tough ball game for the Trojans. They get caught looking ahead a little bit. And those Wildcats will jump you. Here come the chains. They want to check it. It does not appear to be a 1st down. One can never tell from where one is sitting up here. It's not quite. Tom Quinn showing us it's the length of the ball short. Meantime, as Morris Watts talking to the quarterback McAllister and sends him out with a play.
I'm reminded of the last third and short yardage situation they had when Indiana was up trying to stop the run. They hit a touchdown pass over the top to Rison. This is always a tough decision for the man calling the plays, because if you run it, you're probably certainly going to continue with the ball, the way Michigan State's been making first downs. If you throw it, you're likely to get a touchdown, or if you miss it, you got to punt the football away.
Quarterback sneak, leading 20-3. Stay conservative with it and pick up the first down, and UCLA has now jumped out to its 26-14 lead over the Washington Huskies. So from the 41 now, the Spartans will try to control the ball, eat up the clock. They have a 17-point lead. They get all the points they need if they can keep Indiana away from the football. Lorenzo White trying to cut it back into the middle, runs into Walt Harris, and Harris handles him after a yard pickup. One of the good factors of the Michigan State offense is they have Ezor on the sideline, and he's fresh legs. So they may choose before too much time goes by to give him some time and White some rest.
He's a fine player. In fact, Mark Nichols was saying to Tim Moore, the two defensive players, and you know, it stinks we're not going to be around here next year. They're going to be better than we are this year.
This is White going again. Lorenzo up the sidelines, and he stayed in bounds, and he picks up a first down as Van Waiters finally got him. But he was right on the chalk and came tap dancing down the sidelines to pick up the first down.
And they're running into the sideline, Keith. Everything is over here because of this man right here. The wide side is this way, but they're running away from him behind Mandarich, their big offensive tackle, and away from the man they feel like last year was the one player that stopped them right there. Van Waiters, 48. Both coaches agree that Indiana's defense is average talent except for Waiters, 48, and he is something special.
So the ball is now at the Hoosier 48-yard line. First down, Spartans. And Rison goes in motion. And White's got the ball. And he's going to have close to 5 yards on that carry. He has been involved in 33 of the 42 Michigan State offensive plays.
You know, it's really a credit to Bill Mallory how far he has brought this ball club. Last year they were 6-6. Doesn't have outstanding talent on the defense especially. They play a type of defense where you count on your friends. You don't put anybody on an island where he has to make a great play. They play together as a unit.
On second down, it back. And the Hoosiers pounce on him at the 42.
White with the ball.
So they've got a long 3 yards coming up on third down.
And Bauer.
Notre Dame is pummeling Alabama in the fourth quarter.
It is third.
And Auburn leads Georgia by 7. And A&M, Arkansas went into that game with a walk-on third-string quarterback, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do the job for him in the ball game that may swing the Southwest Conference Championship. This is McAllister going to run it. Gets his first down and then some. One man. Not bad. Mike Dumas finally got him down just short of the goal line.
This is a quarterback sweep, a run the entire way. And I'm reminded what Perlis told us yesterday about Morris Watts, the offensive coordinator, teaching this man, McAllister, to run north and south, turn it up and take off. I'm sure Morris Watts would love to say he taught him how to make these moves. Poor tackling and just great running by Bobby McAllister.
Well, he deserves to sneak it over now after a run like that, doesn't he?
Certainly does.
Let's see whose number he calls. His own. And he didn't get there. So Morris thinking the same thing we're thinking. He deserved the 6 after that run.
As much as he deserves it, I hate to see quarterbacks jumping over that pile because they're the guys that have to make the decisions. They have to call the plays, decide where to throw the ball, and they're exposing their head to those linebackers when you dive over that pile. And how many times you see these linebackers coming in and pounding these quarterbacks on their head. Obviously, I was never one to sneak the ball very often. I give it to those big guys. They get paid for doing that.
2nd down and goal. Lorenzo White, touchdown.
Well, not only is it a score, the first score of the second half, well, the second score actually, not only is it a score for Michigan State, but it also keeps the momentum on their side and uses up a lot of the clock that Indiana desperately needs to get back in this ballgame.
Langlo, the point. It's good. So at 4:58 to go in the 3rd quarter, Michigan State sticks it in the end zone, and that breaks Indiana's defensive string. Not allowing touchdowns in the 3rd quarter as Lorenzo White bangs it across. And the Spartans right now have things pretty well in hand. And folks may be on the phone with the travel agent. Well, they didn't have a bonfire and a pep rally last night. Everybody went to the hockey game, including the university president, John DiBiagio. But look out tonight, folks.
There may be some fires in town.
They'll light up tonight around here because it's been so long. And I'm sure there's some depression now is starting to settle over the place of the Indiana Hoosiers, but it ain't over yet. That lady hadn't even started to hum yet. This is Ernie Jones looking for daylight. Pops it outside. Rison runs him down and drags him out.
That right there is why Rison is on the kickoff coverage team. He is the safety in case the man breaks loose. He has the speed to catch up.
Now here's Mike Adamle.
Keith, I imagine all across America, former Spartan football players are enjoying every minute of this contest. Michigan State leads at 27-23. I'm with one of the great Spartan All-Americans, Lynn Shadnoy, 27-23, I said up there. And you don't want to make that a problem, though.
No.
Lynn Shadnoy, 1949. I know this morning they had a very, very nice ceremony for Duffy Daugherty, and a lot of the former players and coaches were there.
Yes, they did, Mike. A lot of the players came over from all parts of the country to pay their last respects to Duffy Daugherty, who most of the ball players played for him or knew him, and we had a very nice turnout. And Francie, his wife, was there, and his kids, and it was a wonderful thing to have.
And speaking about wonderful things, the way George Perles has the Spartans playing in this pivotal game is really amazing.
Well, you know, to me, Perles has always been a defensive coach, but finally I think the offense has finally started clicking with some of these great runs that's been made by this White. You know, I don't think anybody else has carried the ball, but maybe once other than White. But I think we got him where we want him right now.
Yeah. If they do it, going to the Rose Bowl?
You better believe I am.
Keith?
Yeah, Lynn will have fun. Take your sticks and away you'll go. There'll be a lot of folks cinching up the old golf sack.
And you gotta know that Duffy is smiling, looking down on this one.
Oh, you betcha. 2nd down and 10. Ramey tries to option, has to keep it, turns it back into the middle, and runs into Tim Moore. And a lot of folks have stopped hard running into Tim Moore.
Tim Moore is, excuse me, Keith, I'm just going to say Tim Moore is a senior, one of the few graduating seniors off of this Michigan State ball club. Only 11 seniors on the entire squad, 3 on defense. The rest of them will be back. Moore is playing the same position that 2 pretty good linebackers that played at Michigan State went on the pros, both first-round draft choices, Carl Banks and Anthony Bell. Some say he may be in the first round also.
It is 3rd and 9. Ramey gets it away. Buford knocked out of bounds by Todd Crum, but it is a big gain for the Indiana Hoosiers with no flags lingering behind them, and they walk toward the Michigan State goal line.
Ramey with just a half row, he got great vision, nobody in front of him, throws it over the linebacker, over the back, Barnett, and Crum gets there to knock him out of bounds.
And gives them a first down at the Spartan 26-yard line. They had a threat going in the closing moments of the first half, but a pass thrown loosely into the end zone was picked off by Crum in double coverage. Now Ramey trailing 27-3, trying to stick one in there now. Going to throw it again. Good protection, his pass underneath off the shoulder pad of Kenny Allen. You got to look at home. There's a penalty flag back up field, and it could be one of 2 things, either holding or roughing, and it looks like face mask, and it's against Indiana. So an Indiana man apparently grabbed a face mask trying to defend his quarterback.
Exactly, that usually happens in the offensive line.
So the Hoosiers bid again. UCLA now comfortably in front of Washington. Explosive football team. And that's final now as the Irish win a big one, and that'll elevate their posture in the polls. And Auburn between the hedges at Athens handling the Bulldogs after a rough, tough game. Florida State
On the
people
offense, 15-yard penalty, spot foul.
told me that they thought they had left Auburn pretty sore after their win. There's a halftime. We told you Arizona was giving Southern California a bunch of trouble, and it's not surprising. So apparently Auburn not as sore as people thought, and they lost a great defensive lineman in Tracy Rocker. But Plainsmen are up there beating the Dogs right now.
Auburn has a lot of good defensive players on that unit.
Sure do. Sure do. All right. It shows first down, but it's a half a mile. They've got to go through the 16 to get the first down. Ball snapped at the 45. This is Ernie Jones coming across the middle and caught from behind by Derek Reed, a junior out of Dallas, Texas.
Reed has been following Jones all day. Reed is their #1 coverage guy. A lot of the big plays, 10 touchdown receptions, or 12 touchdowns that Jones has made this year have started inside, crossing routes, little drag patterns underneath, square ends a little bit deeper. And Reed knows that and has been following him most of the afternoon.
The ball resting now at the 34. They need 18 yards on second down. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Ramey has it picked off by Todd Crum, his second interception. He threw it down the middle. Crum fumbles the ball. Buford dives after it for Indiana. I'm still waiting to see who's got the ball here. It belongs to the Spartans. That is the 9th interception of the year for Crum. That is a new season record for Michigan State.
Here's Crum right here. It's a very poor throw because Crum is just going to be back here playing deep center field. The ball is well overthrown. 3 deep zone. Crum plays the field. Baseball player, that's nothing for him. He can handle that. Take a look at Crum just playing the field. He was one of the nominees at the beginning of the year for the Jim Thorpe Award. going to the best defensive back of the year. I'd say he's got a pretty good chance with his 9th interception on the year.
Percy Snow, the Spartan who covered the football. They're whooping it up in East Lansing, Michigan, with the home team, the Spartans, owning the football first down at their own 14-yard line and leading Indiana 27-3. And if they hold on to the lead, headed for the Rose Bowl. Lorenzo White, in his last home game, having a big, super-duper day, runs for a first down, loses the football, but the ground can't cause a fumble, and Michigan State retains it. Lorenzo White, 35 carries, 182 yards, and 2 touchdowns so far.
And a nice block by number 60, the center, Shermer, right there, running Sams, the defensive tackle, out of the play. White knows what he has to do when he gets past the line of scrimmage. You know, it's interesting that Michigan State offensive line, the holes they're opening today, straight blocking most of the time, just one-on-one, making things happen.
From the 31, White again on first down. Headed for 200 yards almost surely if he stays into the fourth quarter. Indiana in the first quarter to a 3-0 lead. The Spartans came back on a 4-yard run by White, 7-3, 22-yard pass to Rison, 14-3. In Langlo, a field goal to make it 17-3 at halftime. Langlo, a 20-yard field goal to make it 20-3, and then White from a yard out to make it 27-3, and that's where we are right now. And the ball is at the 40-yard line, second down and a yard. Michigan State defense has just absolutely shut down Indiana's running game. The fullback, James Moore, gets a carry and looks like he will have a first down for Michigan State. And coming up Monday night on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, the Chicago Bears go to the west, to the Rocky Mountains, against the Denver Broncos at 9 Eastern Time. And I'll bet you one thing Mike Ditka and all of his folks are hoping for: please don't let it snow. The forecast is for snow tomorrow.
I don't know why he wouldn't want snow. That weather that they get in Chicago off the lake there sometimes.
There ain't no bargain, is it? But you're up there a mile high, remember? It's thin air.
I'd love to watch games in snow. You know, as long as I'm sitting home watching.
In front of the fire.
That's right.
From the 42, it's a first down. The handoff goes to White. Picks his way. And picks his way for about 4 yards before Todd Walker and Darren Bush can bring him down. Speculation continues. Iowa beat Ohio State today, 29-27, looking for a major bowl bid. The loser of this game, which right now would seem likely to be Indiana, but we've still got a full quarter to play. Probably going to get a pretty good bowl bid. Holiday Bowls here. The Rose Bowl, of course, certainly here, because they can literally shake hands with Michigan State if the Spartans win this ball game. This is White one more time. And Lorenzo crosses midfield to the Indiana 49. David Schnell, the quarterback for the Indiana Hoosiers, who went down a little over a week ago with an acute appendectomy here at the ball game. Hoosiers got into a bowl game. He will surely be able to play, though Dave Cramier did a fine job in pulling the game out last week. Has done a good job here today. This is an ovation for Lorenzo White and company. Lorenzo walking around, holding up his hand. Last home game, and the home folks right now have it in hand. We go to the final quarter of play at Spartan Stadium, East Lansing, Michigan. Michigan State leading Indiana 27-3. Michigan State has the ball, 3rd down and 2 at the Indiana 49. And Lorenzo White one more time slants over the right side this time. He's run most of the day over the left side, and he looks like he will have one more first down. And those are the numbers there through 3 quarters.
Turnovers are a key. 3 for Indiana. The lack of rushing yardage for Indiana, 32 yards. That tells the story, the rushing yardage for both teams.
White now has 39 carries in the game for an even 200 yards.
And you got to give some credit to that offensive line. I'm sure he'd be the first to mention they've opened huge holes today.
On first down, White again. That's carry number 40. And had it not been for somebody getting a hold of his shirt tail, he'd be in the end zone. He takes it down near the 30, and that's another first down.
Take a look from the end zone now. Look at a hole right up the middle. He could have chose that one. He says, that's not big enough. I got another one out here that's a little bigger. Boy, it's nice when you can choose from an inside hole or an outside hole. How many times do you try and run the football and there's nothing there?
Darren Bush was the man that had him by the coattail. Spartans have a full head of steam right now as White dances around, comes back in the middle, fumbles the football. Indiana says, we've got it. But let me see what the man in the striped shirt says. He says, I think they do. But wait, one of them pointed the other way, and now Tom Quinn, the referee, does officially. And the Hoosiers come up with White's fumble. You've got 14 minutes, 11 seconds to play in the ball game.
Sometimes when you start celebrating a little bit too soon, as we saw Lorenzo and the rest of the offense doing at the end of the 3rd quarter, you lose some concentration. The ball comes out. Waiters 48 is right there and is going to jump on it. And it's a turnover, the first of the game for Indiana.
And the Hoosiers go to work at their own 25. They're due for a bit of good luck. So far in this ball game. Brady gets his pass away, and it's intercepted. John Miller. That's a total of 4 interceptions, a 4th turnover, and 3 interceptions. 2 of them by Crum, and now 1 by Miller.
Again up the middle. Travis Davis, 75, is not going to allow him to step up as Moore, 42, comes flying by. Miller, as we said, who had 4 interceptions against the University of Michigan, had 5 on the year. He too was a corner last year. Both safeties, Crum and Miller, were corners last year, moved to safety. Both of them doing well. They have, let's see my math, they've got 14 interceptions between them. 15 interceptions between them this year.
White carries 41st time, going to the outside and run down and brought down by Andre Hall. That's his 42nd carry. And that'll give him 227 yards. Ball is at the Indiana 31-yard line.
Well, we mentioned a little earlier, he had 286 against Indiana 2 years ago. He's got 42 rushes. Unbelievable.
This is McAllister, the quarterback. Cut down back at the 35. Mike Dumas made the hit on him. Must be something about looking at red and white that gets Lorenzo wound up.
Well, you know, some players, honestly, seriously, have favorite colors. Like, I hated to play against teams that wore black. Like the Steelers. Whenever we played the Steelers, I always played terribly. Or the Raiders. I think Lorenzo likes red. Obviously, McAllister doesn't.
Yeah, but you were playing there's David Schnell, who's not too happy watching things. You were playing the Steelers and the Raiders when they were tough, double tough, huh?
Yeah, well,
they beat you up.
That's for sure.
It's third down now and a little more than 10 as McAllister rolls it back. Throws it underneath. Oh, what a hit that was. What a hit on Gasiewicz.
He may be out.
The tight end. Oh, he's getting up.
Well, he's counting his parts and pieces, I'll tell you.
Whew. I mean, that was a lick.
I think he just asked Mandarich, which way's our huddle? Crossing pattern. And a nice hit by Hickerson.
Well, Hickerson is 215 and Rich 245, but I think Hickerson got the better of that one.
Right on the button.
Eric's all right. Out there by himself, taking a little walk, though. McAllister in the ball game, 4 for 4, 64 yards as the chains come out on the field. One pass for a touchdown, and he's picked up 39 yards rushing. And it's a first down for Michigan State at the 24-yard line of Indiana. 12 and a half minutes to go in the game. Joe Pugh is now the fullback. White. Well, Lorenzo White's still in the ball game because George Perlis is not convinced that he's got this one locked up.
Mandarich and Sargent. Mandarich taking care of his man. You know, this Indiana defense, Keith, is not that old a group as we take a look at Mandarich, who's had an outstanding day. Only 2 seniors on the entire first team for Indiana. They'll have a lot of people returning again next year.
White to the right side. And penalty flag down as Lorenzo looks to be across on the mark to 14. If he is, it'll be another first down. Let's see about the flag. Holding. Michigan State. That'll wipe out the run.
Take a look at Mandarich right here. Again, the man we've been talking about, almost 300 pounds. Watch as he pulls. Sargent right next to him, the tight end, will also pull and lead up through the hole. Great block by Mandarich. Up close and personal right here. I guess if you can ice skate, you can move around on an offensive line. There was something in the paper yesterday. They both were holding. Something I asked about Mandarich if he'd like to go out and warm up with the hockey team. He says, I don't know. I haven't skated for 5 years. I think I'd like to practice one week before I went out and did it.
I still think they ought to let him just for the show of it. Second down and 12 after the penalty. Here's another penalty flag thrown by the referee, Tom Quinn, as McAllister breaks a big run inside the 10. But that, I think, is going to come back, too. I think Lorenzo started a little too soon. Yep. Back it comes. So they've been dinged on successive penalties now. And as we usually do toward the tail end of the ball game, we pick an MVP from each team, with Chevrolet donating $1,000 to the respective university scholarship funds in the name of that player. And I don't think there's a whole lot of mystery about who's going to get it from Michigan State.
We just happened to get a shot of him running off.
Yeah. And he's come off the field. That means Blake Ezor has gone out there to get some playing time. So that motion penalty brings the ball back outside the 30.
Michigan State 5-yard penalty. Second and 16 from the 30.
Take a look here, see if we can see the motion there. Lorenzo White was just going down, and the ball was snapped. You have to be set a full second.
He's probably a little tired.
That he is.
So what, 44 carries? 45? Well, here's Blake Ezor. He doesn't have the shiftiness of Lorenzo White, but I'll tell you one thing about him. He does get to the hole in a hurry.
I'll guarantee you one thing. Those Hoosiers on defense know what he can do. He is a real speedster. In fact, they've got some real speed in that offensive team. Ezor runs the 40 in 4.4. Rison runs it in 4.4. And McAllister, the quarterback, runs it in 4.5, as does...
They just took him out.
Lorenzo White.
White comes back in. Ezor last week had 151 yards. Third down. Well, Van Waiters finally gets out on the open field and nails Bobby McAllister. And there's a loss on that play back to the 30. And so it'll bring up fourth down.
Waiters was the most valuable player on that Indiana team last year. He led them in sacks with 14. He only has 4 coming into the game today. He says it's been a frustrating season because everybody obviously is running away from you. When you're head and shoulders above anybody else on your defensive team, you're going to get some respect by teams running away from you. He is also that defensive leader. He's the guy that fires them up, and he's one of the outstanding players on that team. Mallory was saying he had some problems after his freshman season. He suspended him, got his attitude right. He's come back and been nothing but one inspirational leader for this ball club.
Well, there's a little confusion, and it finally results in a timeout call by Michigan State. All right, we have finally righted the confusion, whatever it was, and it had to do with the clock, but I don't know in particular what it was. And you see this rather determined conversation going on between the referee, Tom Quinn, and George Perlis. It's 27-3. That's what was going on during the timeout. So now that whatever it is, they've satisfied it. McAllister, who had come off the field, is now going back on the field. And George was indicating that he wanted him just to go ahead on fourth down and run the play. And the 25-second clock never moved. And finally, the Michigan State players called the timeout, and I think George might have been arguing that he didn't want that timeout. He shouldn't be charged with it, but he's cashed it.
Well, it's 27-3. There's 9 minutes and 17 seconds to go. I don't think George Perlis is conceding anything yet. I think until that clock is under 5 minutes and he has that type of lead, is he going to call off the first teamers and say, hey, we've won this ball game.
All right, it's fourth down from the 30. They got to go just inside the 14 to get the first down. So they need almost 17 yards. McAllister's pass is thrown underneath, and that won't do it. Joe Pugh, the fullback, over on the sideline making the catch. Indiana holds and will take over the football out around their own 27-yard line. This may have been the door slammer for Michigan State. Ezor returning the second half kickoff.
He didn't score on the play. Michigan State only got 3 points out of it. But knowing the history of Indiana this year, how they've come from behind in the second half and won 5 of their 7 victories, Michigan State coming back, Indiana stopping him right there. I think that was the key play if you had to draw one play out of this ball game.
Even though they did not score a touchdown, they did get 3 and then later scored a touchdown in the third quarter. Right now, Dave Cramey, sideline, out of bounds, incomplete, no catch. Got to have 1 foot in, he didn't. He went up in the air and came down, Tony Buford outside. UCLA now rolling it up on Washington. Oklahoma with a new quarterback and a new fullback having to struggle some today. Notre Dame won convincingly against Alabama. Alabama, a team that had upset LSU last week. I don't know if it's an upset or not. Alabama hasn't, I don't think, has ever lost down in Baton Rouge, and they didn't last week. Second down and 10 for the Hoosiers. Thrown underneath to Anthony Thompson, the tailback. And Thompson is knocked down at the 29-yard line. There are other scores from around the country. As we look at the clock rolling, 8 minutes and 45 seconds to play in this game. Oklahoma State's got to go to somebody's bowl game. They've had a heck of a season. Probably going to finish 9-2.
Big win for North Carolina State. Boy, have they been up and down.
Arizona leading by 4 over USC. That was the Baron and Woodhouse right there for the Trojans. I knew they were going to be in for a battle. The week before they play UCLA. Deep drop on third down. Pass is caught by Thompson out of the backfield, but he's held by the Spartans, Percy Snow and Kurt Larson, short of the first down marker. Now a decision for Bill Mallory.
It's been a frustrating day for Mallory. He brought his team in here. He's done an outstanding job of bringing them to this point.
Going to punt it.
Mallory was voted Coach of the Year last year by the Big Ten coaches. Came through Miami of Ohio, played for Parsegian and John Pont.
It's 4th and 2. Do they snap it short? Nope. Don't gamble. Straczynski goes ahead and kicks the ball out of there, forcing Todd Crum into a fair catch call back at the 28-yard line. It was a 38-yard punt with good hang time and 8 minutes to play in the football game. A little bit ahead of the football team, but not much. Not a happy day for that young lady or anybody else of the 2,500 or so who made the trip up to East Lansing. But the future for Bill Mallory's football team is very bright. Wherever Bill Mallory has been, he's turned things the right way. Colorado, the first year he was 5-6. Last year he won 77. He won the Big 8.
Bo Schembechler. Bo Schembechler is a big
76
supporter too, Keith.
Yep.
He's a big fan of Mallory's. In fact, two of Mallory's sons have played for Schembechler. One is playing there now. Doug's a strong safety and captain, and the other, Mike, played for him, is now with Bill as a graduate assistant at Indiana.
Lorenzo White is still in the football game on first down carries for a pickup of about 5, and here's Mike Adamle.
Well, Keith Jackson, Governor James Blanchard is supposed to be non-biased and root for the Michigan Wolverines as well as the Michigan State Spartans, but being a Michigan State graduate, I guess today we'll forgive you.
Well, yeah, this is the restoration of a great Spartan tradition. Every fan in the country is excited. It's been 21 years. George Perlis and those players have enormous character, and you can feel it. This is one of the more exciting moments in all of Spartan sports history.
And you were an undergrad in 1964, I guess, and back when that tradition was just starting, the Duffy Doherty era.
Right. And we were used to winning, and now it's been a long time. And the loyal fans deserve this. They deserve it. But the coach and the players, they've shown so much leadership. They've come from behind this season against Ohio State, Iowa. They've shown enormous character, and we're just thrilled.
Okay, Governor, thanks for joining us. Keith, you want to know what kind of football fan he is? Every time he looks at the players over there, he's going, all right, let's go. Pasadena, all right.
Well, I know everybody's talked a lot about Duffy, and bless him, we loved him, and he was a great coach. But, you know, the guy that really got things started here was Biggie Munn. He was the big horse that started this wagon rolling and was here when Michigan State came into the Big Ten Conference. And up the middle for a first down goes Lorenzo White. My goodness, he's going for 100 carries today. That's 47 carries, 246 yards.
Take a look at his offensive line. 61, the right guard is Tata. Shermer is 60 as Shermer gets out and makes a nice block. Shermer's a graduate student. He's in his 5th year. And he is the boss, the center of that offensive line. He makes the calls, and well, he should.
First down, 41 for the Spartans. That's 6 minutes to play in the ball game. Here comes White again. That's 48 carries and a gain of about 8. Now, the NCAA record for carries is Kent Kitzman of Minnesota. 1977 carried the ball 57 times against Illinois. I remember Bill Enyart, Earthquake Enyart out at Oregon State. He had 53 carries in a ball game that I remember. I thought he had 57 too. But
for some guys, that's a whole season.
Yeah, career.
We're talking about Biggie Munn and Duffy Doherty. you ask George Perles who was the biggest influence on him, the first man that comes, the first word is Duffy, the second is Chuck Noll, the coach of the Steelers.
Right again. And he's held right about the line of scrimmage. Well, Michigan State officially began participation at the Big Ten back in 1953, and they came right out of the blocks to win the championship under Biggie Munn, beat UCLA in the Rose Bowl 28-20. That was his last season as the coach of the Spartans, too. In fact, the ice arena here at Michigan State carries Biggie's name. It is 3rd down and 3 for Michigan State at 4:45 to go in the ball game. White, he's got his first down, and he's running just as hard as he did in the first quarter. Speaking of changing times here at Michigan State, the gentleman, and I mean in the purest sense, this gentleman, Nick Vista, retiring after 33 years, and the Sports Information Department succeeding Fred Stabley Sr. as Director of Sports Information. There is a nicer fellow loose in the land than Nick Vista. Going down to Atlanta. 42-yard line, first down. Wide again. And about 5 more yards. Now you're inside 4 minutes. I do believe I would retire Mr. White. He's now got 51 carries, 269 yards, and the last thing in the world you want to happen now is, you know, he's got to be getting a little weary.
Yeah, you don't want him to get hurt.
Fall down and break a hand, break a finger.
The winners and the losers. The Michigan State players celebrate. Mallory thinks about what I can learn from this game, what my players learn. It's interesting, they've buried a lot of ghosts this year. They beat Ohio State for the first time in 23 years. They beat University of Michigan for the first time in 15 tries. Illinois had 6 wins against them in a row. They wiped all that out.
Penalty flag following Lorenzo White there as he goes out of bounds down around the 30-yard line to have another first down, but flag might bring that one back. Yep. Holding. Well, it's the first time, too, you're talking about Bill Mallory in this season. It's the first time Indiana has ever beaten Michigan and Ohio State in the same season. There was one time back in '59 they beat Michigan, tied Ohio State 0-0. But this first time they have ever beaten them. And that 1967 Rose Bowl team with John Eisenbarger and Harry Gonzo and that bunch, they did not play Ohio State that year. 52 carries, 272 yards for White. 53 carries will be the MSU record. There he goes. 53rd carry. And he almost picked up a first down on that one.
Step to the right, back to the left. Good runners get stronger the more they carry the football. I guess, Keith, I kind of bridged the gap for Michigan State going to the Rose Bowl. I was there in 1965 on the field playing against the Bubba Smiths and the George Websters when they won and went to the Rose Bowl, and I'm here in 1987. We're going to be hard-pressed to control this crowd as Bobby McAllister calls a timeout with 1 minute and 57 seconds to play in the game. That student body just aching to come on the field. What's going to happen tonight? Well, let the head man tell you, Coach George Perles.
But as far as after the game, if we win, yeah, the odds are good that there'll be a party, and the odds are good that I won't miss it.
That's for sure.
Understated.
We play hard and we party hard.
Lorenzo White, as a sophomore, ran for 286 yards against Indiana. He's got 283 right now. Is he still out there? Yes, he is. So he's apparently wants to break his individual record, and he's probably been lobbying with the coach to do it. Because I would surely have the feeling that he might very well, George might have wanted to take him out some time ago. But sometimes a player of that quality can be persuasive.
I'm sure that the last thing that Perlis told him was, don't take any chances. You can get the carries, but don't get hurt.
He might be cashing a couple of Heisman ballots, too.
No question about that.
3rd and 1. White again. Has the first down. Down at the 31-yard line. The MVPs in the ball game, one of them very obvious, Lorenzo White for Michigan State, and in his name, Spartan Land, the original land-grant university, will get $1,000 in their general scholarship fund in White's name from Chevrolet. Darren Bush with at least 15 tackles in the ball game, inside linebacker for Indiana. Good day for Darren, and in his name, Indiana University will receive $1,000 from Chevrolet so that a deserving student can march along in their academic progress. Andre Rison has come out for the plaudits of the crowd and his teammates. White now with 54 carries, 285 yards. Out of the wishbone, White up the middle. And he has now surpassed that 286 mark. He's got 55 carries for 290 yards. And the ball is resting at the Indiana 24 and the clock rolling. The NCAA record for carries in a game, remember, 57. White has 55. So if you're that close, you might as well go on and get it. I'm always a little surprised that somebody down on the bench, though, would know that.
Well, it's called down from upstairs, probably. One of the coaches. McAllister is 5 out of 5, completed all of his passes. We said coming in that they needed to run. They certainly have done that.
White again. That goes in the books as a carry. And he just about got to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard on it. So now he's going to give him 2 yards. So it's 56 carries and 292 yards. And McAllister's called a timeout with 24 seconds. And here come the students. And now they're going to let the clock run. That's it. Forget it. Forget it. There will be no more plays. He's going to be 1 carry short of the NCAA record. With that many people on the field, forget it. And here's Mike with George.
Well, George had tried to call timeout with 23 seconds left to get Lorenzo the record. But first of all, your feelings. How does it feel after all these years, baby?
Feels good. I'm just very happy. Feels good.
You knew a long time ago that this was your dream to become the coach of the Michigan State Spartans. And now you've done it and taken it to the Rose Bowl.
Thanks, Mike. I'm awful happy.
Hi, Dan. Enjoy it all. Enjoy it tonight and savor it. Okay. Keith, it's nuts.
Well, this is the first time that George Perlis has been subjected to a delirious crowd. And he may, before this is done, find that scrimmaging with Mean Joe and that bunch in Pittsburgh was easier than this, because you can really get yourself pounded in a crowd like that.
Well, he signed a contract 5 years ago. It was a 5-year contract. He said he had a 5-year plan. I don't think he really knew that at the end of 5 years that this stadium, the students and everybody would be on the field as they are, and he'd be going to the Rose Bowl. But you got to give him credit. He did an outstanding job pulling this group together. And Bill Mallory and the Indiana Hoosiers have done a great job, and he has done an outstanding things for them. They'll be heard of again.
Neither one of these teams lose a lot. Your final score in the ball game: Michigan State 27, Indiana 3. Everybody was anticipating that UCLA and USC might be playing for the western end of that Rose Bowl situation, but right now the Trojans are trailing Arizona, while UCLA is winning over Washington.
We're in a sea of Spartan fans here. Lorenzo White, 56 carries, a Rose Bowl berth, a Big Ten championship. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great. You know, my 4 years here, I'm enjoying myself. The fans are great, and I couldn't ask for a better thing.
What a way to finish with 56 carries. Were you tired at all?
I was pretty tired, but Coach Corliss told me he was going to give me the ball, so I had to go suck it up.
How do you feel? Lorenzo's mom.
I feel great. I feel real good.
Hey, best of luck out in Pasadena. Congratulations on a terrific season. Keith?
And so this story has been told. And this ABC Sports Exclusive has been brought to you by Tandy Computers. There is no better value. By Honda, who invites you to experience the new Civic four-door sedans at your local Honda dealer. By UPS for overnight delivery from coast to coast. UPS runs the tightest ship in the shipping business. By Metropolitan Life and affiliated companies. Get Met, it pays. Today's game produced by Bob Goodrich, directed by Craig Janoff. Our technical director, Doug Schmidt, associate director, Jack Graham. Our statistician, Dave Burnson, Todd Berry, our spotter. Stay tuned for College Football Scoreboard with Al Trotwig and Jim Hill. Denver Broncos at home against the Chicago Bears on ABC's Monday Night Football at 9 Eastern Time from Denver next Monday night. And watch Big Ten matchup when Ohio State takes on Michigan in Ann Arbor, UCLA, USC from Los Angeles next Saturday here on ABC Sports. This is Keith Jackson along with Bob Greasy and Mike Adamle. This a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television. The final score: Michigan State 27, Indiana 3. The Spartans go to the Rose Bowl.
ABC Sports presents scores and highlights of today's top games and more. Now from New York, Al Trautwig and Jim Hill with College Football Scoreboard.
Welcome to the College Football Scoreboard. And many of the much anticipated games today, important games, blowouts were the order of the day.
But I know of one tired young man who's going to be very happy tonight.
Boy, you're not
you
kidding.
better believe it.
Yeah.
Lorenzo White of Michigan State. Michigan State defeated Indiana 27-3. So the Spartans go to the Rose Bowl. Fabulous day for Lorenzo White. 56 carries, 292 yards, and 2 touchdowns. One of the big plays in that game came in the second quarter for Michigan State. Bobby McAllister, fine quarterback, will throw a 22-yard touchdown pass to Andre Rison. That made it 14-3. They went on to win it and go to the Rose Bowl 27-3.
When they came to town on November 14th of 1987, only Indiana could catch Michigan State in the race for the Big Ten title. And the Hoosiers got the first score against the Spartans to lead 3-0. But after that, MSU turned in the most representative performance of that title-winning season. In 74 offensive plays, the Green and White ran on 69 of them, with workhorse Lorenzo White setting a school record with 56 carries and his career high of 292 yards rushing.
Carrying the ball 56 times, you know, if you was to see it, you know, say it to yourself, it probably would be tired, you know, worse than that. But it's not so bad.
After their early lapse on the first drive, the record-breaking Spartan defense stiffened up and permitted only 4 more first downs for the rest of the game.
We knew we had to control the line of scrimmage up front to win. We knew they were going to come out and try to run the ball right at us, and if we could stop that, then they'd have to throw. And then we knew we could put pressure on them, and that's what we did.
With just 5 Spartan passes in the game, there weren't many opportunities for big plays in the air. But on the first throw of the game, Bobby McAllister hooked up with Andre Rison for a 24-yard score. The Hoosiers found no way through the gangrene defense. 3 interceptions kept Indiana out of the red zone. Todd Crump pulled in 2 of the picks, and that cemented the 27-3 win and gave the Big Ten title to Michigan State.
For a senior, this is my dream. I came here as a freshman wanting to go to the Rose Bowl, and it's a perfect way to cap off my career here.
And as the pandemonium continued on the field, Indiana coach Bill Mallory came across the hall and delivered what may be the best locker room speech ever at Spartan Stadium.
I can say this without getting emotional, but you know we both wanted this game a heck of a lot. But you know both of us as teams fought our ass from the bottom up. by God, I commend you, and we have a lot of respect for you. You're a damn fine football team. And congratulations on winning the title. I'm just going to say this. By God, go out to the coast and kick their ass because we're all damn tired. Yeah!